Hi, and welcome to WarHQ. My name is Lucius, and today's episode, what we'll be looking at, is Elves in Blood Bowl 2020. Not any elves, we're talking about the elves, the Wood Elves, the mightiest team that ever lived, apparently. Or are they? I don't know. We're going to have a look at that today, and we're going to answer some of these questions, and actually look at a couple of team builds as well. But the first thing we'll be starting with is what's actually in the box. Now, with the new Treeman that Games Workshop have just released with 2020, I'm going to have a look at that. Now, it can be set up in a number of ways. So you can make it the Akhorne Forest Treeman, which plays for the Halflings, or you can make it the Lauren Forest Treeman, which plays for the Wood Elves. Obviously, I'll be going the Wood Elf option. The only real difference there is the face mask. Like, you can give it like an elven face mask. Now, the model itself is quite an improvement on the original Treeman, which I had in the 80s, which was a really straightforward, standard, weird kind of miniature, actually. Had like a Blood Bowl helmet and big long arms and legs and stuff, but it looked like a tree, I guess. This one's very modernized, very cool. I don't have the mask on him yet, but I will be. But I wanted to paint him first and do that. But why did I actually buy this set, you ask? Drum roll, it is Akhorne the Squirrel. So Akhorne the Squirrel, as many of you probably already know, was released as a card in the new White Dwarf magazine as a star player. So Akhorne himself is pretty rad. There's been a bit of debate in the Blood Bowl community. Do you buy the Treeman box for the Treeman, or you're just buying Akhorne and getting a free Treeman? I think I'm with the latter. I just wanted Akhorne the Squirrel because it's a cool model. I am going to convert this. A little bit of fun fact here is this yellow base was from the original second edition of Blood Bowl. I found it just randomly somewhere, which was pretty awesome. So I decided to recycle it here for Akhorne, but I will be doing a conversion of Akhorne. I'm thinking of doing him surfing on a Blood Bowl whilst sort of going down an orc severed head or something. Figuring out something, but I'll show you guys when I do get that. But for now, that's Akhorne. So they're the things that you get within the Treeman box. Now, looking over at the actual Athelstan Avengers box, now this has been out for a little bit, but the models still really hold up. They're good. Like most of the Blood Bowl teams, they're all doubles, which you can choose alternative heads for, I guess. So you get the 6 linemen, which are here, and they're in 3 different poses, and you can put a number of different heads on them. They are quite cool looking models. I quite like what they've gone for here. I like the punky look. I like playing elves back in the 80s, so they all had this long mohawks and punk kind of look about them, and that's what attracted me to the team in the first place. I think the linemen here have done a pretty good job on capturing that and keeping that nice aesthetic that they used to have. There's not a lot of variation, but you can change up things a little bit. As I said, with the different heads and slightly different poses, not hugely different. Now the catches, I quite like these ones. This sort of leaping dude. This guy here looks like he could be a 40k Harlequin. His head, I really like that. And that was one of the ideas I had originally. If the models weren't good for the elves, I was going to convert some 40k Harlequins into elf miniatures, but didn't have to because they look pretty cool already, I think. This guy here, he's got these braids flying in the air. Another catcher. I differentiated those two a little bit, just with a bit more of a lean, different head, obviously. Now, everyone's favourite models from the Wood Elf team is the Wardancers. These ones probably have the least customization out of the ones that are in there. There's only 2 head options, really. But solid models, and anyone who plays these in Blood Bowl knows how amazing they are. So a couple of different options there. They're just the standard ones, options from the box that I could use. And then finally, you've got the Wood Elf Throwers. So you've got 2 head options here, basically, as well. For these, female throwers. They're pretty cool. Which gives you like a total of 12 players. But as you can see with this, adding the Treeman box into this mix really gives you a lot more variety too. Variety in teams that you can use and builds. And a star player with Akhorne as well, if you want to go the lull route, which I definitely do. So let's have a look into some potential lists and what I see being strong. with Blood Bowl and the Wood Elves this season. Just before we get into any of these builds for teams for Wood Elves, let's just have a look first at what has changed with the new second season of Blood Bowl for those that weren't aware with the Wood Elves. There's been a couple of price changes with some of the positionals. So we've got the Throwers and the Wardancers have gone up 5,000. Okay, rightio. Another change is that the Catchers have lost Sprint, which is a bit of a sore spot. And just general changes, the leap rule has changed a little bit as well, so you might want to read up on that just to see how that affects your Wood Elf teams. Okay, we're going to start and have a look at some potential league team builds. Now, what do I mean by league team? This is straight from the book. If you're just playing a little competition with your mates, you've got 1 million gold to spend. This is just an option. I'm not saying it's the best team that's ever existed, but this is just one option that I saw that we could have, combining the two box sets that we bought. So what we have is we have 1 Thrower, we have 1 Wardancer, we have 2 Catchers, 6 Linemen, and Akhorne the Squirrel, plus we have 2 Rerolls. So the first thing you're going to notice about these elf teams, particularly the Wood Elf one, is the positionals are really, really expensive. So it's very hard to get the kind of roster that you want. They're all very pricey. And with that, you know, the main positional you have in this one is the Wardancer. Everyone wants it. I know that you don't get 2 in this list, but that's just how it is, unfortunately. You'll see with the next list we'll be able to fit 2 in there or an alternative. But for this list, it's pretty generic. You know, you've got your linemen there. You've got a full contingent of linemen. You've got a Thrower, 2 Catchers, and a Wardancer. So really that Thrower's trying to work with the Wardancers and Catchers to score, and Akhorne's causing havoc, and linemen are doing their thing. Okay, the second league team comes in at 995,000. So what we have here is, what I've done is I now have 8 linemen. These 2 Thrower models are being placed in there as linemen. We have 1 Wardancer, we have 1 Catcher, and we have the Treeman. So this is just an alternative list to the one we had before, plus we've got 2 Rerolls. Now, as I was saying before, you wanted the 2 Wardancers. Well, at 995 cost, we can get rid of the Treeman if you want to. And for that extra 5,000, you can add in that Wardancer. So now you have a full contingent of Wardancers, if that's what you're going for. So you can alternate between the Treeman and the Wardancer. This one, you know, again, it's a starting roster. It's difficult. It's very difficult to get all the juicy stuff in the Wood Elf team, but this is just another attempt at that. Okay, so we're coming on to the first of our actual competition teams, so competitive play teams, and I'm basing these on 1.1 million gold. So depends on what your league, you know, what your tournament organisers have, but this is fairly standard, I guess. And this is the kind of team that you'd probably be thinking of for Wood Elves. So you've got the full complement of Wardancers having the 2, you've got 6 linemen, you've got 2 Catchers, and you have 2 Throwers, 1 Thrower, sorry. Now the beauty of this team is you have two Rerolls, but you also have the Apothecary, and that's a big bonus. I mean, that can help save one of your squishy dudes from getting murdered, I guess, on the blood and crumped on the Blood Bowl pitch. So I know it's only 11 players again, but yeah, you've got the Apothecary and Rerolls there to help try and save the team, but fairly solid start for this one. And if you're going to go to a competition, probably not your worst option for your Wood Elves. All right, looking at our second competitive build for the Wood Elves. This is my lulls build. So basically what I've done here is I've included the Treeman and Akhorne for a tidy 200 for the 2 of them. I've got the 2 Wardancers, I've got a Thrower and a Catcher, and I have 5 linemen, plus 2 team rerolls. And that comes in at 1,085,000. So you've still got 15,000 there to spend on fans, whatever you want. This is quite a fun list. I think the one I showed you before is probably more competitive because you've got that Apothecary and you've got, you know, a bit of a better balanced team, but this could work too. Hey, this is kind of like the Bruiser Wood Elf team, if there's such a thing. Maybe the Wardancers and the Treeman can do some damage in Akhorne. Who knows? But this is the last option I have here for my competitive ideas for builds. So there you have my look at the Wood Elves for Blood Bowl Season 2, 2020. And I've given you 2 league and 2 competitive builds there as well that you could play around with if you were to purchase these 2 box sets. If you were, then you've had a bit of a look at the miniatures, you've seen what's going on here. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to play these. We'll be having a bit of a league soon, so I'll be using one of those builds that I just did then, probably more for fun than competition. So yeah, I'll see how that goes and I'll keep you guys updated. But for now, if you like this sort of content and you like what we do here, please consider subscribing to the channel. It only takes you a second to do, means a lot to us here at WarHQ as we continue our pursuit of our first 1,000 subscribers, which we're close to. And thank you so much to all those that have supported us so far. And we thank you for those that wish to come along with this journey with us through all the multiple game systems that we play and use regularly. We're just here to have fun, and I hope you enjoy it too. But for now, I'm Lucius, this is WarHQ, and we're signing out.